Hola, bonjour, hello. It is time to do our lesson today. So for our English lesson today, we're going to start off with me sharing with you some math terms. So let's look at some math terms very quickly here. So we want to take a look at addition today. So this is how you spell the word addition in English, A-D-D-I-T-I-O-N. Go ahead and say that word addition. Awesome. And then, so this is our addition sign. That's how you spell the word sign, S-I-G-N. That G is silent, addition sign. And then when we're talking about addition and we're talking about the two numbers that we're adding together, or it could be more than two, right? Those are our addends. Go ahead and say addend. Awesome. So 269 is one of our addends, and then 412 is one of our addends. The sum then would be the answer to that problem. So when we're talking about a addition problem, we're talking about the sum when we're looking for the answer. Go ahead and take a moment and solve this on your own and let me know what is the sum for this problem. If you need another moment, go ahead and pause when you're ready. Otherwise, the answer would be, the sum would be 681. Awesome. Okay, so today while we're reading, we are going to look at cause and effect relationships. We are going to be reading the book, The Power of Wind, okay? And a cause and effect relationship is when one thing occurs and it makes something else happen. So here's an example. When I woke up this morning, I saw that it was cold outside. Okay, so the cause was seeing that it's cold outside. The effect was me putting on my coat. Okay, it's because I saw this happened that this happened. Okay, another example would be if you spilled a glass of water, right, the table would get wet. This happened and it made this happen. Spilling the water made the table get wet. So we're going to look for more cause and effect relationships. I am going to share the book, The Power of Wind. You can go ahead and take a moment to take a look at the table of contents and start thinking in your head what we're going to be reading about. We're only going to read about the first half of the book today, just an excerpt of the book. So I'll start reading. More than 5,000 years ago, a person took cloth and attached it to the mast of a boat. The wind caught the sail. It pushed the ship forward, sending it across the water. Hey, right away, there's a cause and effect relationship. Okay, it said that the wind caught the sail and that pushed the ship forward. So if I go back here to my cause and effect graphic organizer, I can put that right in here. The sail caught the wind. So what happened? Right. The ship moved forward. Ship moved forward. And technically we wouldn't need that capitalized because these aren't complete sentences. It's just that the computer wants to automatically capitalize it because it thinks it's the beginning of a sentence. All right, so I want you, as we're reading, to look for more of those cause and effect relationships. I'm going to make sure to point one more out as we're reading this book. Okay. For the first time, people had harnessed the power of wind. The word harnessed means to control or use. That's one of your vocabulary words for this week. So that sentence is saying that people were controlling wind, right? They were trying to control or use wind for themselves. It was just the beginning. Today, we use wind to power just about everything, from computers to cars. An ancient marble carving from around 200 BCE found at Carthage shows a small Roman ship with two masts. What is wind? The wind can be our friend. It cools us off on hot summer days and allows us to fly kites high in the sky. The wind can also cause great damage, downing power lines, trees, and even buildings. This moving air is mainly caused by differences in air pressure, which in turn are due to differences in temperature. Warm air rises and spreads out. This is known as low pressure. Cold air, on the other hand, sinks and compresses. This is known as high pressure. Air moves from areas of high pressure to areas of low pressure across the planet. This creates wind. All right, so I see in the diagram here that cool air sinks, creating high pressure, and warm air rises, which creates low pressure. And the wind moves from air moves from an area of high pressure to an area of low pressure. So this creates wind direction. It creates wind. That is a cause and effect relationship, right? That air moves from an area of high pressure to an area of low pressure, and that causes wind. So there's another cause and effect relationship. The air in a balloon, for example, is under higher pressure than the air outside it. When you let air out of a balloon, the air rushes out into the area of lower pressure. That's wind. Areas of high and low pressure are always moving and changing as Earth spins and moves around the sun. Usually, the greater the difference in pressure between two areas, the faster the wind blows. Tornadoes and hurricanes. Pressure differences are most extreme during tornadoes and hurricanes. These storms can create unbelievably powerful winds. Hurricanes can produce winds that blow more than 322 kilometers per hour, or 200 miles per hour. Tornado winds can reach 483 kilometers per hour, which is the same as 300 miles per hour. Hey, I want to go back really quickly, and I want to highlight this word compresses. This is a vocabulary word this week as well. It says that cold air, on the other hand, sinks and compresses. When something compresses, that means it's being squeezed together. So my example for students today was that if you go to the beach and you play with like blow-up toys, like a beach ball or a blow-up ring, a blow-up tube, when you are done with that, you compress it to squeeze the air out. That's compressing. Let's read one more chapter. And what I want to do is I want you to remember that you are looking for a cause and effect relationship. I want you to try to find one on this page. And when I finish the page, I'm going to give you a moment to think about it. And then we're going to check to see if you had a cause and effect relationship. Sailboats. Sailboats were the first important use of wind power. Early sailboats were simple ships with a single sail. Wind power only helped people travel in one direction, the direction the wind was blowing. In time, people learned to use sailboats to travel against the wind. They built ships with many sails that could travel long distances. People used sailboats for fishing, trading, exploration, and war. Sails powered the battleships of ancient Greece. They helped the Vikings travel to Europe, Africa, and North America. The Vikings, who ruled Scandinavia for almost 300 years, were warriors of the sea. So I'm going to give you a second to think about. There was for sure at least one cause and effect relationship on this page. Can you identify what it was? Awesome. So if you noticed here, and you said this one, great work. It said early sailboats were simple ships with a single sail. Wind power only helped people travel in one direction, the direction the wind was blowing. So our cause and effect relationship was that ships only had one sail. The effect of that was, if you didn't identify it, now's your chance. What was the effect of having only one sail? You're right. Ships could only move in one direction. Great work. Okay, let's go ahead and finish this chapter. In the 1500s, explorers used massive ships with sails to travel the globe. People coming to the Americas also used these types of ships. In time, engines replaced sails as the main way to power ships. Today, people still sail for fun. Magellan's Journey. The Magellan expedition, the first to sail around the world, left Spain in 1519 and returned in 1522. Wow, so think about that. How many years was that this crew sailed from Spain all the way around the world and back to Spain? You're right, 3 years. It took 3 years. Magellan did not complete the voyage himself, but his expedition set the stage for future exploration. All right. So that's the end of today's lesson. Today we covered what cause and effect is. And remember that cause is something that makes another thing happen. And that thing that ends up happening is the effect. So we had a couple of examples from today that the sail caught the wind and that moved the ship forward. And another cause that we identified was that ships only had one sail. And the effect of that was that ships could only move in one direction. All right. Be ready to practice cause and effect next week in Seesaw. Have a great day, everyone.